Hey, big smiles everybody. Today we are going to be creating something like this. I already made the garment in Marvelous Designer just to save time. So this is mostly just going to be an introduction to Unreal Engine and the export settings that I use to get clothing into Unreal Engine. So without further ado, let's open up Marvelous Designer. Okay, so I have this in Marvelous Designer. It's already all simulated and ready to go. One thing I will note is I already have the UVs scaled to, mostly scaled, to 0 and 1. You know, hit the auto UV button and it'll put everything in this box if you go fit UV to 0 to 1. So we can export as Alembic. I use Ogawa, Unweld, and I want to include the diffuse map. This is the biggest image size that it can make. And that's pretty much it, just centimeters, my entire region. Okay, and that'll export. Sweet, and as that's exporting, we can launch Unreal Engine. So hopefully you have it downloaded. If not, it's free and you can just download it and go ahead and launch it. And so we're gonna go to film, video, and live events and create a new blank project. We're gonna include ray tracing just in case we want to ray trace afterwards so we don't have to restart. And I'm just going to name this hoodie 2. Cool, yeah, just blank, ray tracing, create it. This might take a little bit of time, so I'm gonna cut this. Okay, so we're in Unreal Engine. If you don't see this content browser, you can, it's right there under the content drawer. I just dock it in my layout because I use it a lot. So there we have that. And then if you just open up your Finder window, and you can just drag and drop your Alembic file into here, and then a dialog box will pop up. And you need to change this to geometry cache to make sure that everything is animated. And then from Marvelous Designer, it treats orientation like 3ds Max. So I just choose Autodesk 3ds Max. And that's the same with Cinema 4D Alembics. And I think most 2D Alembics. So if you just click import, this might take a while as well, but once it's imported, things are a lot quicker. Okay, cool. So my hoodie animation is imported as a geometry cache here. You can also create new folders if you want to keep things organized, but this will be a quick one. So I'm just gonna drag it out onto the scene and right cursor and WASD to kind of fly around, center myself around it. And I need to create a new level sequence. I'm gonna name it hoodie, and I can drag this hoodie animation down here and do a geometry cache, and that will help it play. I don't really need all of this stuff. I might keep this sphere reflection capture just in case I have any metallic materials, but I won't. I'm gonna delete all that, and maybe the instanced foliage actor as well. I can keep that. And I'm gonna create a light. It's gonna be a rectangle light, and I'll just move it into the scene real quick, and hold Alt and move it to duplicate it. Maybe create another clear light. Trimming it real quick, and maybe create another one this side. And on this fill, bring it out. Ooh, where are we going? A little bit, and soften it up by increasing the width and height. Might be a little too much for my taste. Okay, cool. So now we can add some textures, and to do that, I'm gonna do Quixel Bridge, and I'm gonna search for a cloth texture, and It doesn't really matter the color for me because I'm gonna be just using the normal map from this. So once I have that loaded in here, I'll see it in the content browser, and I can go back to my Explorer, my file Explorer, and bring in my map from Marvelous Designer. Right click and create a material from that. Double click on the material. Whoa. And I need to make it two-sided. So I'm just gonna search for two-sided and check that. And then I can bring in this normal map from the cloth texture and put RGB into normal. And then I can also, these ORDP channels contain a lot of information in the red, green, blue. I think roughness goes to red. If you want to Google that and correct me, that's cool. But they have like all the other ambient inclusion stuff in that file, but I think roughness to red makes sense to me, so we're gonna go with it. And once we have this material, we can drag it onto our guy, and there it is. And then I might just download some other materials from Quixel Bridge, like a cement or something, and I'm gonna add it, and it will show up in my content browser, image concrete wall, and I can drag it onto this floor. That looks a little too tiled for me, so I'm double click on this and go to tiling, and I might go 0.5, and that'll change that. You can change a lot of stuff in here. So this doesn't look like the normal material network because it's an instance material. So everything you download from Quixel will kind of look like this, which is honestly a lot easier because you can just like change shit like roughness here and normal strengths without having to mess with the nodes. So nice of them to do that for us. And then I'm just gonna hold Alt and duplicate this to create like a little back wall dealio. Put it right there, and I might download a different texture for this. Damaged concrete floor, cool. Saw something really funny on Twitter though about like industrial architecture. I was gonna try to repeat that joke and play it off as myself, but cool. And then same deal with this. I think it might be a little too tiled. I can see some of the patterns in there, so I'm gonna do like 0.7. That looks good to me. And then let's add some other stuff in Quixel just to show you how to do it. So I can add a rock. Maybe this forest rock slab. Neat. I want it to be nanite actually. So nanite's important for if you're downloading meshes, because Unreal handles it really well and super efficiently. Add it to here. Add. And it'll show up under 3D assets in the content browser. And I can bring it out here. Ooh, nope, I don't want that material. I want the static mesh. Jumping the gun a little bit. Unreal is getting mad at me. Cool, and then I can hold, if I want to kind of instance this really pretty quickly, I can just wait for Unreal to do its thing, and then hold Alt and duplicate it, and then E to rotate it around a bit, and then Alt duplicate it, E rotate it around a bit. And they instance over each other really pretty well with nanite and stuff. You still get some funky stuff going on, but whatever. It's working a lot quicker than Cinema 4D would, that is for sure. Maybe I need another one for that little corner over there. Okie dokie, cool. This light is a little hot, so I'm gonna bring it down to 4, maybe. This one might be a little bright too. I don't wanna keep overexposing it. I'm gonna create a nice balanced image here. Okay, and then plants. I guess plants are the only other thing that's kind of different here. So if you go, let's do some flowers. Cool, periwinkles, neat. And we can go to foliage, and we can select all of these, and we can check those. And I want the scale to be a little bit different from what they have here, so I want the min to be 0.3 and the max 5. And I can paint here. So the paint is a little bit big of a brush size, but if I just kind of draw around here, some nice flowers all over. Flowers on rocks. Beautiful. Okay. And then rendering this sequence is pretty simple. So we can create a new camera. And I'm gonna change the focal length down here to 24. And I want it to kind of do some autofocus things. So if I go to focus settings, I can go to tracking focus settings, just do the eyedropper thing to there. And cool beans. So I'm gonna go to the first frame. I'm gonna keyframe the transform node here. Center it up a bit. And maybe go to cinematic viewport and then reselect the camera. And go into selection mode so I don't have any distractions and I can really make this super cinematic. So I'm gonna reset that keyframe, go to the end of this sequence and hold the right cursor and then just kind of dolly in real quick. And boom. And then I can change these to linear keyframes. And wow, there we go. How beautiful is that? So if I want to save this, I can go to this movie render queue. If you don't see this, it might not be your fault. You can go to plugins and go to movie render queue and check that on, and then you might have to restart Unreal, which is a major bummer. So I can click movie render queue. I just need to specify location, select folder. And you can change the output resolution if you want to do 4K. I'd probably just recommend sticking with 1920 by 1080 until you see how your GPU handles this scene. It should be really pretty quick though. Unreal's freaky fast. There's a few other settings that I want to go through here too. So if you want to do path tracing, so this is lumen right now. Path tracing will look like this. It'll look like that, which is a little bit better for some textures and a little bit more lifelike. So if you want to render in path tracing, you need to turn off deferred rendering and you need to do path tracing, path tracer, and you need to do anti-aliasing, and you need to up these to something like 16 and or maybe 8 and 8 would be a good starting point, and override anti-aliasing and render that out. But if you don't want to do path tracing, that's totally fine. You can just do deferred rendering and that'll output in Lumen to your file folder. And if you accept this and render local, you'll see how quick it is after it compiles the shaders.